Hello, my name is Diana Vasquez, and I'm with you one more time to complete our week of English lessons. So today we have our fourth class, and the topic for today is media, but I have limited that topic, and we are going to be talking about television. Okay, so let me take you to the presentation, and we will start from there. Okay. So as I said before, we have a television, that is our topic. We have class 4, and my name again is Diana Vasquez, class 4. That means we have one more class that will be tomorrow, and we are done. So let's go with our first question to get this started. So please let me know your answer in the comments. Okay, so that question is, do you watch TV? Well, it's actually two questions. So do you watch TV? Yes or no? And if your answer is yes, please let me know, what do you watch? So what kind of TV shows you enjoy the most? Okay, so I'm going to give you a few seconds to answer those two questions. While you do that, I will answer the questions myself. So do you watch TV? Yes, I do. I really like watching TV. I don't have a lot of time to watch TV, but when I do have time, I try to get some TV, to watch some TV. I enjoy it. So what do I watch? I like movies the most, and I also like TV series. So I try to watch those a lot. The only thing that gets me frustrated is that usually TV series have like different seasons. So when one season ends and the other one, well, the time that you have to wait between the ending of one season and the start of the second season, if it's a TV show that I really like, that's kind of frustrating because you have to wait like usually a whole year for the next season to come out, but I like a drama, I like a science fiction, so those are the type of TV shows that I usually watch. Okay, so hopefully by now you have already answered the two questions in the comments. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to show you some of the platforms that we have here in the States. By now, hopefully you know that I'm located in the States. So now I'm going to show you 3 of the most popular platforms that people buy. So they pay a monthly fee to have access to TV shows and movies that these platforms offer. I'm going to show you 3, but of course there are many more. So I have chosen these 3 thinking that maybe they are the most popular ones, or at least the 3 that I enjoy the most. So of course the first one is Netflix, very popular. Then we have Disney Plus, and we also have Hulu. Okay, so let me know if you are familiar with any of these 3 platforms, or if you use a platform that maybe I have not included here. Let me know that in the comments as well, and I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Okay, and what we are going to do now is that I'm going to show you some vocabulary. I'm going to show you that could be the word, some vocabulary related to the different type of shows that we have. Okay, of course I have not included all the different type of shows there are. So if there is a type of show that you enjoy and I didn't include it, please use the comments to let me know. So let's start with types of TV shows. And as I said before, look at the following types of TV shows. Think of examples of each type of show from your own country, and also think of other types of TV shows. So I'm going to show you a type of TV show. I'm going to try to give you an example with a show of that type, or within that type, that is showed or played here in the States, popular here in the States. And the idea is that you think of that same type of TV show and mention something that you guys watch in India that fits that spectrum. Okay, so first one, that is a soap opera. Okay, so again, the pronunciation is soap opera, but we kind of read the two words together, so we say soap opera, like it's one word only, soap opera. Okay, a soap opera is a TV show that has many episodes, okay, usually different seasons, because here in the States, everything tends to have seasons, okay? So different seasons, it usually has like a lot of drama. It is related maybe, or the center of the whole plot is a family. It's usually like a love story that is difficult and all of that. So a very famous soap opera that is like current in the United States would be This Is Us. Okay, This Is Us. So at this time, please let me know first if you like this type of TV shows. Okay, so if you enjoy watching soap operas, and if you do, and even if you don't, if you are familiar with soap operas in India, okay, and leave those names in the comments. So I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to do that before we move on to our next one. Okay, let's go. The next one is the news. Okay, the news, of course, are those daily TV shows, daily, and also they're not only daily, but you tend to have a news broadcast in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one at night. Okay, like usually. So, of course, these are the type of TV shows that tell you about like the current events, not only in your country, but internationally. And of course, they are intended more towards a mature audience, because kids and teenagers are not going to be interested, or at least it's not that common. Okay, so the tendency is that each channel has its own news broadcast. Okay, so I'm going to show you one here, and that is CNN, very popular. And CNN, like they have local news, like in the States, but there are also like international CNN. So there is like CNN Latin America, CNN Europe, and those things like that. Okay, so I'll give you the same 5 seconds to think of a news or news channels that you have in India, and then we move on to the next one. Okay, let's go. We have now a documentary. Okay, so documentaries are those types of TV shows where you tend to learn about something. Okay, so there are TV shows, well, mainly history, I would say mainly history, but there are documentaries about many different things. Okay, but for example, if you want to learn about, I don't know, what happened a century ago, there's probably a documentary to learn about that. Okay, so documentaries tend to be very educational. And I'm just showing you like different documentaries that we have on Netflix, okay? And I believe this one is social media. So there's a documentary on how social media works. I don't think that is the exact name, but that's the plot. It is about social media and how social media affects our lives. So if there is any documentaries that you have watched, that you have enjoyed, and you want to leave the names in the comments, I'll give you 5 seconds to do that. Study now. Okay, let's go to the next one. And that is going to be a reality show. Okay, reality show, very popular. I believe they started becoming so popular when we started the new century, the 21st century. So 2000 and current times. There are reality TV shows about many different things, you know, how to be people trying to be actors, people trying to be singers, I don't know. So the idea of reality shows, or at least as they started, maybe it has changed a little bit more recently, is that people are trying to compete, right, to win a competition. But there's also a little bit of, or the show presents also a little bit of what goes behind the doors. Okay, so it's not only the competition and seeing them sing, but also a little bit of the drama that goes on before they perform, if you want to see it like that. Okay, so that is a reality TV show, and a very, very popular reality show that I believe started in England and now has expanded throughout the world is The X Factor. Okay, The X Factor. And especially this one is The X Factor in India. So let me know in the comments if you have watched it, if you like it, or of course, if there is any other reality show that you like. So same 5 seconds, starting now. Okay, let's move on to our next one. And that is a cooking show. I love these types of shows. Okay, I love cooking shows. I'm not the best cook, but I love watching cooking shows. Not that I'm learning, but I do like cooking shows. Okay, so this cooking show is a Sugar Rush. That is a cooking show on Netflix. Okay, and of course they're just like baking all the time. And we have other very famous cooking shows like MasterChef. What else? Oh, that's the one that comes to my mind right now. Well, there are others that are not necessarily competitions like Sugar Rush or MasterChef. But you have like people trying to cook, you know, or restaurants trying to survive, and they have like this really good chef that is helping them make things better. So at this point, if you like cooking shows, let me know. If there is a cooking show that you really like to watch, let me know as well. Let me know if you are familiar with Sugar Rush. So 5 seconds. Okay, that was it. Next, we have a wildlife program. And we not only have wildlife programs, but we also have channels that, let's say their main product is everything related to wildlife. So an example of this is Animal Planet, right? Animal Planet. The name of the channel lets us know that we are gonna get mainly content related to animals and their lives and their behavior and all those type, and maybe research on animals, all those type of things. So I would say like a very, very famous TV show that is actually like a whole week of this is a Shark Week. And this is on Discovery Channel. It's not on Animal Planet, but it's they're talking about sharks throughout a whole week, and this is very famous and it happens every year. Okay, so it's Shark Week. So let me know if you are familiar with Shark Week, if you have ever watched it, or even if you have heard of it. If you have not, that's fine. Let me know if you are into this type of TV shows. And if you are, if there is one in particular that you like and maybe you would like to suggest for me to watch. So I give you 5 seconds, starting now. Okay, next. We have now a crime series, okay, crime series. And they are very popular in the States, okay, they tend to be very popular in the States. And of course, as the name explains, is self-explanatory. It's about crime and solving crimes. So this is a very popular type of TV shows in the States. I don't know how popular it is in India. And very popular TV show that now has ended, but you can still see watch the old episodes, is a Hunter. So let me know what you think of this type of TV shows and if there is something like this in India. Okay, so 5 seconds. Okay, let's move on to our next one. And that is going to be a sitcom. A sitcom is also, I would say, probably one of the most popular genres or types of TV shows in the States. Okay, and the example of a modern sitcom would be The Big Bang Theory. But before this, you have things like Friends that were very, very popular back in the 90s. So much so that they had a reunion recently. Okay, and many of those actors and actresses that participated in sitcoms, being that they were so popular in such a big thing in pop culture in the States, went on to become big Hollywood names. Okay, so if you look back at Friends, and I don't know if you're familiar with Friends, but you have names like Jennifer Aniston. Okay, so Jennifer Aniston is a very well-known actress here in the States, and she became so well-known because she participated in Friends back in the 90s. So that was a long time ago. But this comes to show you the impact that some TV shows have on pop culture and culture in general. So this is The Big Bang Theory. Let me know what you think of this type of TV shows. I think I forgot to say, so a sitcom is kind of a comedy, you have, you have jokes. But for example, if you watch The Big Bang Theory, they are very interesting and sometimes even difficult to understand or challenging jokes. And so, it's really interesting. Let me know what you think. If there is a TV show of this type that you like, that you watch, if you are familiar with The Big Bang Theory or Friends, that is the other one I mentioned before, or if there is a sitcom in India that you really like and you would like to recommend. So 5 seconds and we move on. Okay, next. So those were some categories, but of course there are more that I didn't mention. You have cartoons. I love cartoons. We have movies. We have game shows, and a whole range of TV shows that I couldn't cover. So what we are going to do now is that we are going to learn or review, in case you are familiar with these words, some adjectives to describe TV. An adjective is a word that you use to describe things. In this case, TV shows, because that is our focus today. Okay, so adjectives to describe TV. Use one adjective for each gap from those below. So I'm going to show you some words. Okay, those words are going to be in pink, and then I'm going to show you a description with a gap or with a blank of those types of TV shows that we just saw, and the idea is that you pick one of those words in pink to fill in the gaps in a way that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to show you the words. You are supposed to use one of those words per sentence, so you're not going to repeat those words. Okay, so we have addictive. So addictive would be a type of TV show that you watch and you can't stop watching. You need more and more and more and more. Then we have annoying. Annoying is something that frustrates you, that for one reason or another you don't enjoy, that you get tired of it, that you want it to stop. Okay, boring would be the opposite of interesting, of exciting, right? Like you start watching it and then you're like, oh, I don't want this. Okay, depressing. Depressing would be the opposite of happy, right? So it's something that makes you feel bad. Okay, makes you feel bad. Usually when you watch TV is entertainment. So if you're taking the time to watch TV, you would expect that you are actually taking the time to watch TV because you want to feel good, not depressed. Then we have educational. Attention to that pronunciation. That is, again, educational. Okay, educational comes from education. So when you get education, you learn. So it would be the type of TV shows where you learn something. Funny. Funny has to do, of course, with comedy, with laughs, when having a good time. Then we have popular. Popular is something that many people like, or many people know. Okay, so that's popular. And finally, we have realistic. That again is self-explanatory. So as the name indicates, realistic has to do or is linked to reality. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words. And again, those 8 words are addictive, annoying, boring, depressing, educational, funny, popular, and realistic. So one more time, we have addictive, annoying, boring, depressing, educational, funny, popular, and realistic. So as I said before, what we are going to do now is that I'm going to show you 8 sentences. You are going to use one of those words for each sentence. That means that if you use addictive once, you cannot use it again. You have 8 sentences and you have 8 words. So we are not going to repeat any of the words. Okay, so how do you know they are not in order? That's important. So addictive is the first word you have. That doesn't mean it's the word you are going to use in the first sentence. So you have to use common sense, understand the idea of the sentence, and based on that idea, you are going to select or pick the correct word to fill in that gap. So we're going to go through each of the sentence. We are going to try to figure it out. I'm going to try to give you some hints, and I'm going to try to give you some time to complete the activity. And once I think I have provided you with enough time to complete the activities, I'm going to change the slide and I'm going to show you the answers. So I will let you know before I move on to the next slide with the answers. If you feel like it's not enough time, feel free to pause the video until you have all the answers, and then you can check whatever you have with the answers I'm going to give you. So let's begin. Okay, so we have number 1. Sitcoms are usually blank, but some of them just don't make me laugh. Okay, so the key word in this sentence is laugh. Some of them don't make me laugh. That means that sitcoms are supposed to make you laugh. So with that in mind, which of those words, or which one of those words fits or makes sense to fill in that blank? So I'll give you 5 seconds before we go on to the next one. Okay, and remember that whatever word you chose, you cannot use anymore. So let's go to number 2. So number 2, a crime series is rarely blank. You can't believe everything that happens. And this is your clue. You can't believe everything that happens. So if you cannot believe everything that happens, is because a crime series is not what? Which of those? So again, 5 seconds before we go to number 3. Okay, number 3. Ooh, I'm sorry. Ooh. Okay, number 3. Cooking shows are blank right now, but I hardly ever watch them. I don't know how easy this one is going to be. Cooking shows are right now. So the clue or the hint here would be right now, like in this moment. They are something like that. But I hardly ever watch them. So even though they are blank, I don't watch them. Or I don't watch them as much as other people do. Okay, that's your clue. Yes, I don't watch them as much as other people do. 5 seconds and we move to number 4. Okay, let's go to number 4. Documentaries are blank. They often show you new things. Okay, so if you are seeing new things, you're probably learning new things. Okay, and learning, the idea of learning new things is linked to which of those words above. 5 seconds. Okay, number 5. Wildlife programs are occasionally blank. They look pretty, but not much happens. Okay, so they're pretty, photography is amazing, animals are beautiful, but there is not much action going on. Okay, and if there is not much action going on, which of those words above could you use to describe what wildlife programs occasionally are? 5 seconds. Okay, number 6. Joe thinks that reality TV shows are blank. The contestants are always loud and rude. Okay, so Joe has an opinion about reality TV shows because every time he watches a reality TV show, regardless of what it is, he sees how the contestants are the people participating, are loud and rude. Okay, so if they are loud and rude, which of those words in pink could best describe how he finds reality TV shows to be? 5 seconds. Okay, number 7. News programs are sometimes blank. Lots of bad things are happening right now. Okay, so whoever is describing news programs is taking this position, okay, or is using the word that you have to choose, because many bad things is the key. Many bad things happen. And of course, when you watch news programs, you hear about those bad things that are going on, not only locally, as I said before, but also internationally. Okay, so locally, nationally, and internationally. So how are bad things supposed to make you feel? And based on that, choose the correct word out of the 8 words in pink. So 5 seconds. Okay, and we have the last sentence, number 8. So by now you should have only one word remaining, and that word should make sense with whatever the sentence is. So let's take a look at that sentence and see if it fits. If it fits, very likely you have the rest of the answers correct. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Soap operas can be very blank. Some people never stop watching them. So remember that I told you at the beginning, is like you cannot stop. You need more and more and more. So based on that sentence, which of those pink words you should use for this gap. 5 seconds. Okay, so by now you should have all of your answers. If you need more time, please pause the video and then resume when you have completed, because I'm about to show you the correct answers. And of course, with those answers, you are going to check whether or not whatever you have is correct. If it is correct, congrats. If it is not, that is fine. We are learning. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So the words were addictive, annoying, boring, depressing, educational, funny, popular, and realistic. And for the first one, we have sitcoms are usually funny, but some of them just don't make me laugh. Okay, so they are supposed to be funny, but some of them are not funny enough for me to laugh. So funny should have been your answer for number 1. Let's go to number 2. A crime series is rarely realistic. You can't believe everything that happens. Okay, so you can't believe everything that happens because it doesn't seem real, right? So realistic should have been your second answer. Number 3. Cooking shows are popular right now, but I hardly ever watch them. Okay, so they're popular. Everybody's talking about them, but I hardly ever watch them. Okay, so popular, it should have been your third answer. Number 4. Documentaries are educational. They often show you new things. So remember that I said educational is linked to learning. And of course, when you're talking about somebody or something, in this case, a documentary, showing you new things, you are learning, right? So learning and educational are connected. So educational should have been your fourth answer. Let's go to number 5. Wildlife programs are occasionally boring. They look pretty, but not much happens. So you want action, but there's not much action. So if there is not much action, they're boring. So that should have been your 5th answer. And now let's go to number 6. Joe thinks that reality TV shows are annoying. The contestants are always loud and rude. He finds it annoying because he doesn't like having to sit there and watch people being loud and rude. So he thinks they are annoying. Reality TV shows are annoying in his opinion. Okay, so that should have been your 6th answer. And now let's go to number 7. News programs are sometimes depressing. Lots of bad things are happening right now. Okay, so again, news programs are sometimes depressing. Why? Because lots of bad things are happening right now. And the last one, soap operas can be very addictive. Some people never stop watching them. So those should have been your answers. Number 1, funny. Number 2, realistic. 3, popular. 4, educational. 5th, boring. 6th, annoying. 7th, depressing. And 8th, addictive. And if you paid attention, there are some words, well, you have some words in pink, that is the vocabulary we're trying to use, but you also have some words in blue, and that is the grammar we are trying to learn. So let's take a look at that grammar. So the grammar is adverbs of frequency, okay? And the explanation, or the definition better, is that adverbs of frequency are the words that tell us how frequent or how often an action happens. Okay, so number 1, use adverbs of frequency such as always, usually, often, rarely, etc. to show how often you do an activity. Okay, so we use them to talk about the frequency of an event, and they answer the question, how often? How often something, whatever happens, okay? Adverbs of frequency go before verbs. Pay attention to location in the sentence. Adverbs of frequency go before verbs except for be, for the verb to be, okay? Examples. I always go shopping on Sundays. So you have first always and they go, that is the action or the verb. I always go shopping on Sundays. So if you have a verb other than the verb to be, you first have the adverb of frequency and then the verb. But if you have the verb to be, you first have the verb to be and then the adverb of frequency. So let's take a look. I am never late, and here I have a typo, so you would need to drop that R in late. Okay, I am never late for school. I am never late for school. So first the verb to be, in this case am, and then never. Then we have number 3. Use them. Them is adverbs of frequency. Use them between modal verbs such as can, could, might, may, have, etc. And the main verb. Example. I can always watch football on TV. So first the modal verb, then the adverb of frequency, and then the main verb. So in this case, the main verb is watch, that is the activity. So you have the modal verb, that in this case is can, then you have the adverb of frequency, that is the one in blue, and then you have the main verb. So the main verb and the modal verb are making a sandwich, okay? And what's in between that sandwich is the adverb of frequency. Okay, then we have, when you want to be more specific, you can add the number of times you do something. So days, weeks, months, or anything like that. So examples, I go swimming once a month. So the pronunciation is once, and once means one time. Okay, so I go swimming once a month. So you're being more specific, because if you say, sometimes I go swimming, and okay, yes, we know that sometimes, but we don't know exactly how many times sometimes is, if that makes sense, okay? Then we have, I go traveling twice a year. So once is one time, twice is 2 times. And then we have, I eat 3 times a day. Okay, so for 1 time, we usually use once. For 2 times, we usually use twice. And then from 3 on, we say 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, etc. Okay, so adverbs of frequency, there are 8 adverbs of frequency, and the idea is that you put them on the line to show how often things happen. So let me show you what those words are. So we have never, usually, rarely, hardly ever, often, occasionally, sometimes, and always. So those are 8. So again, the pronunciation is never, usually, rarely, hardly ever, often, occasionally, sometimes, and always. Okay, so we have 8. Never is 0%. So if you say never, is because you don't do this activity at all, at any point in your life. That just does not happen, okay? Always would be 100%, okay? Always is 100%. So we go from 0% with never to 100%, that is all the time. And then we have 6 more words in between, but those 6 words are not in order. The idea is that you put them in order, okay? So from almost nothing to almost everything, because always is going to be the last one, that is your 100%. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example with never. I never eat seafood. So if you have been paying attention when we talked about food, and I believe that was our first class, I told you guys that I don't eat seafood. I don't like it. Okay, so I never eat seafood. Never, ever. That just doesn't happen in my life. And always, what could I say with always? Okay, I always brush my teeth. So every day, I have to brush my teeth every day. So that would be an example. Okay, so I'm going to show you a chart and then I'm going to give you some time, some seconds to figure out the order of those other 6 adverbs of frequency that are in between never and always, from almost nothing, so almost no frequency, to almost 100%. Okay, and to put them in the correct order, then I'm going to give you some time to figure it out, and then I'll show you the correct answers. So as I said before, number 1 would be never. Never is 0%. You have to figure out number 2, number 3, number 4. I'm going to give you a hint with number 5. So number 5 is sometimes. For sometimes, there's no percentage, okay? Or for the ones in between never and always, there's no percentage. It's just whatever you think expresses a higher percentage of occurrency. Okay, then we have, you need to figure out number 6, number 7, and of course number 8 is going to be always, that is 100%. So I'm going to give you 1 minute for that, because all you have to do is place them, and then I'll show you the correct answers. Remember that if you need more time, feel free to pause. Okay, feel free to pause the video, because I'm going to show you the correct answers in just a second. Okay, let's go to the answers. If you have not finished, please pause the video, and then you can kind of see if the answers that you have based on what I'm showing you is correct or not. So these are the answers. And again, the words were never, usually, rarely, hardly ever, often, occasionally, sometimes, and always. So number 1 is never, 0%. Then we have hardly ever. Then we have rarely, occasionally, sometimes, that I had already given you that one too. Often, usually, and the last one, of course, is always. Sorry. Always, 100%. So those are the answers. Let me know if you could figure it out, or if you were like really lost with this order of words. Let me know in the comments before we move on to TV collocations. Okay, since we are talking about TV, I found this very interesting activity on TV collocations. Collocations is vocabulary, and just to give you a very quick explanation of what a collocation is, a collocation is 2 words that usually go together in a certain context, okay? So of course our context is TV, right? Because we are talking about television. So you have 2 columns. The first one with a verb and the second one with a complement. Before, we already talked about verbs and complements. Verbs are actions, complements answer the question what related to that verb you're using. Okay, so the idea is that you match the 2 words, or the 2 columns better, because some of them have more than 1 word. So the idea is that you match the 2 words to make or to create TV collocations. So phrases that are popular and are expected to be found in this TV context. So in the first column, we have 1, change, 2, watch, 3, browse, 4, lose, 5, turn on or turn off. And in the second column, we have A show or program, B, the remote control, C, the TV, D, the online TV guide, and E, the channel. So the idea is that, again, you match column 1 to column B. So let's try to do this together. So number 1 would be change the channel. Okay, so when you're watching TV, what do you change? You change the channel. Number 2 watch. So if you're watching TV, what do you watch on TV? A show or a TV program. Then we have number 3, browse the online TV guide, right? So you browse the guide to see what the offer is, and out of that offer, what is it that you want to watch. Number 4, lose the remote control, right? You have to lose a noun, so lose the remote control. And of course, number 5 is going to be the only other option you have. In this case, turn on or turn off the TV. So that is those are our answers. So again, change the channel, watch a show or a program, browse the online TV guide, and it doesn't have to be online, just browse the TV guide, the offer, and lose the remote control and turn on or turn off the TV. And to finish, guys, let me know what is your favorite TV show and what type of show it is. So the name of your TV show, and out of those categories that we studied at the beginning of the lesson, or any other category that I have not mentioned, like cartoons. So let me know what category your favorite TV show fits into. And with that, we're finished for today. I will see you guys tomorrow for our last class. So bye-bye, have a good rest of your day, and see you tomorrow.